It's Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show. We're live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here at Fifth Estate, also live on YouTube and on Facebook, having the crucial conversations that Erie needs on Friday. We try to keep it light, but also really important stuff here because an economic driver for Erie includes the arts and culture. When we talk about tourism being a billion-dollar industry, well, what are tourists going to do? Well, a lot of times they come and they go see a show at the Playhouse, or they go to a gallery opening or what have you. Susannah Faulkner is with us. She's the executive director of Erie Arts and Culture. Susannah, welcome. Good to see you again. Appreciate it.
It's great to be back. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's get caught up of what you've been up to. You know, we've known you from being on council and some of the other work that you've done, and now you're in this space here heading up Erie Arts and Culture. Tell us a little bit about your journey in the last couple of years.
Absolutely. So I came back to Erie 5 years ago after being gone for 13 years. Proud collegiate grad, class of 07.
Nice.
And
Where'd you go to undergrad?
I went to Ithaca College in Central New York. Yep.
For dance? Do they have dancing?
No, I studied political science.
Oh, well, that makes total sense, mind you.
Yes. So I have always lived this double life of politics and policy and dance and ballet. Like, this has been my entire life. All 4 years of college while studying political science, I was in a dance company. I was teaching at a local studio. And then when I did my master's at London School of Economics, I was doing professional dance gigs, dance modeling, dance teaching. We ran the ballet team at the school. So I have always had this double life.
Yeah.
And I am so grateful to have landed at Erie Arts and Culture to bring it all together.
Yeah, it really does,
yes.
Because there's a lot of policy that's involved here. You're kind of like the representative for the state in some of that funding streams. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So Erie Arts and Culture was founded 65 years ago as the Art Council of Erie and has been Arts Erie and different iterations. But we are a really proud partner of the Pennsylvania Council on the Arts. So we are one of 14 partners through the state. And a lot of folks don't realize, and understandably so with our name, that we don't just serve Erie County. We serve Crawford, Warren, Venango, Mercer, and Lawrence County as well with all of our programs and our grants.
So does that necessarily mean that you have to program, or are you more of a funding granting organization to people that want to program? Let's say there's a dance troupe in Warren.
Yeah, exactly. It can look a couple different ways. So we have 3 programs that we administer. So creative entrepreneurship, supporting working artists, connecting them, networking them, building up their business skills. We have arts education, which a lot of people know us as with the arts residencies in schools. And then we also have folk and traditional arts. So that's led by our folklorist in residence, Kelly Armour, who does such incredible work to support, not just the accordion and the contra dancers of Crawford County, but also our new Americans and Afghan refugees who do embroidery and music and dance. So it combines all of that. So we do coordinate some programs, but we aren't necessarily the lead on them.
Okay.
So we can help provide funding for groups. We can also provide funding for individual artists. And then we do run some signature programming like workshops like Working Artist 101 and our Creative Crowd event and Gallery Night, where we're bringing people together. So it's really a multi-prong approach where we're working with schools. Just earlier today, I was with Dr. Brenneman and Dr. Gibbs from Erie Public Schools talking about all the work we're doing in partnership with them. So I like to call us the Regional Arts Advocacy Organization because we do the programming, we do the funding, and then we're also advocating for the arts to be in as many spaces as possible.
Is it still the situation, the knee-jerk reaction that when budgets get tight, arts kind of get defunded? Or
yes, so we're actually feeling that right now.
Are you really?
We are. So the Pennsylvania Council on the Arts has recently rebranded as Pennsylvania's Creative Industries, which is good. It's exciting that they're focusing on workforce development and how the arts play a role in the economy. But I'm really worried it's going to leave behind the art for art's sake, the arts education, that type of work, the folk arts and all of that. So we are still awaiting further guidance for the 26-27 budget, but I foresee a lot of advocacy that's going to be needed. I mean, we just got a state budget this week, right?
Right.
So we were waiting.
How did you all do?
We were okay because we aren't solely dependent on the state. But it is a fifth of our budget, so we had to cover that for the last couple months out of our.
Do you get anything from the National Endowment for the Arts?
Not at this time, so we were safe from some of those cuts.
Okay.
But just as recent as 2 years ago, we were administering some grants from NEA and IMLS, the Museum and Library funds. We just got lucky that this year we didn't have any of those funds. Wow. Yes.
What? When we think about like public art and things, you know, we've had multiple public art projects and things. Is that usually coming from Erie Arts and Culture, or is that usually a funding thing and somebody else is doing that? It's interesting because you're kind of a networking kind of organization.
We
right?
are. We're the connectors.
Right.
That is so often it. And so I can't tell you how many emails I send in a day where I'll hear from someone who wants to do a business wants a mural and they have an idea, and then I think of a teaching artist on our roster who does that type of style, and I say, hey, Caesar, meet Jay meet Caesar.
Wow. Yeah.
Because we're often that connector. We played a role. We weren't the lead on the Fish and Frogs project,
right? That's
but
a while
we were
ago,
a part of that. And
but I'm thinking about like the electric boxes on the corners and stuff.
Yep,
you know?
Played a role in that, and then also the Views Festival was the big mural festival 2 years ago. So led by Patrick Fisher, previous executive director, and that really was an amazing partnership with the United Way because they're all along the safer routes to school, so that kids have wayfinding as they are walking to school, and particularly our elementary schools. So that was 23 murals in a 2-week period that we led.
Wow.
And so a lot of the public art does come through us in some way. And what I'm advocating for now is I would love to see things like what folks in Buffalo and Montreal and Seattle have done, where 1% of every redevelopment project goes to public art. And so that's going to be something that my team and I will be working on as we have new administrations at the city and county level, of having some real commitment, with CRIS and everything that's happening down here. We have a great relationship with the EDDC. They're our landlord over at the cashier's house. So I want to see that. I want to see that as policy. I want to see 1% going to public art, because it's transformed our community in so many ways. Like, I love seeing the murals pop up, the sculptures, the electrical boxes, and that's just the beginning, really.
Right? Yeah. Well, pretty remarkable, because all these conversations of getting the art out from behind the walls into the general public, and where it's accessible, and more people are able to appreciate it. I'm thinking about, gosh, how many years has it been now since the mural went up on Methodist Towers of that gentleman, and it's like, I mean, talk about a statement of a community, right?
Yes, it's so powerful, and it strikes you. It gives you that sense of identity and belonging, and I think that's something that can so be missing when we're talking about our, revitalization and reinvestment projects and all of this. It's wonderful to see that, but also, where is the art? We need to center the art in that. And I love, when I was working for the Sisters of St. Joseph Neighborhood Network, we worked to install the murals that are at 26th and Peach.
Right.
And now every time I drive or walk by those, it just like lifts my spirit. They're so bright. They honor our heritage and our culture. We're painting our stories.
Well, and again, back to the economic piece, you think about Chicago. Chicago is what, the Bean?
Yes.
I mean, it's like this iconic,
literally
everybody goes there to see a bean.
Yes. Yes. To see this giant metal bean.
I don't even know the story behind that.
I don't either, but I've been there multiple times.
Have you?
Yes.
Isn't that something?
It really is. And
I mean, think about, downtown Pittsburgh and just some of
the point.
the point and
Yes.
the places, at PPG Place. I mean, these are magnets.
Yes. Yes. I think we have some serious untapped potential with our Bayfront. And I was just having a conversation today with someone who's at the Port Authority and have been having ongoing conversations about the redevelopment there. There's some interesting work that's under wraps right now, but that will be coming to really create some of those spaces that are iconic where people can come and gather and say, hey, I want to sit here and spend my lunch break there, but also I'm a tourist from out of town. Like, look at that iconic, little park that's on the Bayfront or whatever it is, because I see that as a blank canvas right now. Like that whole Bayfront retention wall, while they're doing, like, that's a blank canvas while they're doing construction. Let's get murals on there that tell our history and, our manufacturing history and agriculture and arts and culture. So all the time now I'm constantly seeing blank canvases and the Bayfront is really that. But yeah, I mean, if the Chicago can do the Bean, we can figure out something for our gem city down on the Bayfront.
There's no doubt about it. Susannah Faulkner is with us. We got to take our first break. It's Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show on a Friday. It's Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show here at 422. Susannah Faulkner, she's the executive director of the Erie Arts and Culture. So you talked about these three pillars that you guys work on here. Let's kind of check those off. You're talking about creative entrepreneurship. And again, the idea that you could make a living, kind of an artist live, work, and play in this space here in your footprint, right? I mean,
yes, and everywhere throughout Northwest Pennsylvania. I mean, we think about it so often that the starving artist trope, right?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Right? Like we've all been there. And I remember when I was in a dance company and doing consulting work for grant writing and bartending and doing this and all of that. And so we really want to equip our working artists and folks who want to grow business out of what they create, because not everyone wants that, and that's totally fine.
Right.
But folks who do want that, from musicians and painters and writers, we're offering everything that we can in terms of building up their business acumen, learning how to write a business plan, marketing, website development. And so we administer a program, the Creative Accelerator Program, through the state, where we're giving working artists $2,000 grants to really build up their businesses. And we administer that we give that out every quarter. And so that is one, direct way where we're giving working artists dollars as long as they go through some steps with different partners like Radius and the Business Development Center at Gannon and Beehive and whatnot. So we have a ton of partners. And then also we run Working Artist 101. So that's a workshop that we put on, and that will be through the 6 counties. And it offers all of that skill development. So last year we did one that was focused on legal, understanding business law 101. And we're very fortunate to have a great lawyer on our board, and everything really that someone would need to step out of that just creative maker space and really get strategic and talk about being an entrepreneur.
Are you finding that there are service providers that are starting to think, hey, I need to be able to cater to that working artist, whether they are a web developer or an accountant or in law, in intellectual property law, so on.
100%. I have noticed a shift, and my team, we've talked about this, where it used to be that creative entrepreneurs weren't necessarily a part of like the business cohorts that Erie has and different things. But now we've got such strong relationships, and things like NWPA Made and Bridgeway Capital, like we're all coming together to say creative entrepreneurship is an essential part of our economy here in Erie and Northwest PA. Like, you think about the folks who are publishing the books, who are, creating, writing a new play or wanting to earn from what they're creating. And I'm really happy with where the partnerships are going. And I think we've got, chess pieces have moved in the right way, where it's not, the arts are not excluded from that business ecosystem. So I think we're going in the right direction.
That's awesome. Well, we got some time. Let's go to the second one here. Arts and education. We kind of alluded to, you're in the K-12 space. It seems that, I'm going to ask you then, where are we at in post-secondary, in higher ed with the arts? Because we've seen some hits there.
Yeah, we've seen some big shifts over this last year even. I am really fortunate that we have both state and local funding to support our arts education programming. And that is primarily in our K through 12, but it's also in community centers. We work with the Barber Center for residencies. We work with libraries. And so we're bringing art not just to kids, but to special needs populations, to all ages, really. And so definitely a hit. I think higher ed is having to get more creative.
That's where I'm concerned about that. Like, for example, the music program at Edinburgh just kind of vanished.
Right. Right. But then, talking with Gannon, and we've
Yeah.
got great Gannon representation
Sure.
on our board, they've got an innovation and creativity minor.
Right, that's true.
That's
Mary
great.
Carol Gensmer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think the ecosystem is shifting, and I was just down in Edinburgh at Penn West on Wednesday at their Bruce Gallery. And so where, music education might be cut, which is a huge loss, their MFA program, their visual arts program, their game design, graphic design, that is nationally recognized.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think we always have to adjust with the times. And I think what young folks are interested in is shifting. But I know for the Mercyhurst BFA ballet program, they were down in numbers for a few years, and now they're up this year.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's constantly shifting.
Wow. Yeah. Talk about that. If, again, you made a choice for poli-sci undergrad.
I did.
But there's a lot of opportunity there to get a degree in the fine arts.
Oh, yes, absolutely. In the arts administration, in arts advocacy, in nonprofit leadership, where you're leading arts organizations, in arts education. And so often we will be talking with young folks who want to do something really niche. They're like, I want to do costume design. And we're like, okay, how about we talk a little broader about fiber arts? Do you want to do costume design for performing arts? Do you want to have your own business? What would you do for marketing? So we're just trying to get them a little more well-rounded, if that makes sense.
Sure, yeah.
So that they don't get stuck in one silo, so that they can have multiple skills, because that's something that's helped me so much. Like, my political background has inspired my arts journey, and my arts journey has inspired, my political journey. So I think, we gotta encourage our young people to be well-rounded.
Well, and whether it is in a lot of folks, for example, will get a music degree, but they get a music ed degree.
Yes.
They're still able to perform.
Yes.
And so on, or learn that instrument, but also teach music.
Yes.
And of course, near and dear to our hearts is theater, and all of that. And there's still all kinds of, theaters need an accountant.
Yes. Exactly. Yes. We need all of those skills. They need the graphic designer. Like, they need all of it. And so I think whatever someone's skills may be, they can find a fit within our community.
We're going to take a break at the bottom of the hour. Susannah Faulkner is with us from Erie Arts and Culture. Stay with us. It's Talk Erie. It's all about the arts here on a what is it? Friday? Oh my gosh, I don't even know what day it is. But I know who's with us here, and she is the executive director of Erie Arts and Culture, kind of that big overseer of all the things in arts and culture in Northwest Pennsylvania. Susannah Faulkner is with us. Susannah, we were going through the kind of your three pillars here, and before we go any further, let's talk about folk and traditional arts. And it's interesting because we just had Bobby Selecki from who's doing he did the Polish exhibit at the Hagen History Center, and so much of that art and religion and culture all tied together in that Polish American experience, right? I mean, that's kind of what you're talking about here, right?
100%. I was so happy to see that project come to life, and so much of it is the music. It's the dance, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I love that the biggest dance party in Perry Square in the year is the polka night, right? Like, can we get more? Right. Clearly, there's a demand for it. So, yeah, our folk and traditional arts is all of that. It's all of that and then some. So it's talking about our history and understanding from whether it's a certain culture or ethnicity to our nautical history and sea shanties all of that, but then also preserving the history of the new Americans and the refugees that we have in Erie and all of our immigrant populations. And so we're so lucky to have Kelly Armour on our staff and working out in the community doing field work, and so that looks like so many different things. It can look like polka, and it can also look like an African arts fashion show. I mean, it's a little bit of everything. And so
it's interesting when you think about maybe one of the most famous people to ever come from Erie, Pennsylvania was Harry T. Burley, who grew up in Jerusalem, New Jerusalem here on the Lower West Side, and there he is singing for Dvorak, right?
Yeah, I love working closely with the Burley Legacy Alliance, and Burley Week's coming up the first week of December, and we've got Burley Day on December 2nd, and I look around and I see, like, at Tennessee State University, their School of Music is the Burley School of Music.
Oh my!
Like, Burley is idolized in so many spaces around the world. So it is our job at Erie Arts and Culture and in Erie with the Burley Legacy Alliance to uplift Burley's work and tell that story and ensure that the youth understand that and are able to tie that to our current and present moment.
Pretty amazing. All right, so what do you got coming up here?
Yes.
Because gallery night's coming, right?
Yeah, gallery night's coming up. So that'll be on December 12th. And so that's the holiday gallery nights that are going on, all coordinated through our lovely Erie Art Museum. So our space will be open. Not a lot of folks know, but we have a new home. We moved into the cashier's house a year ago. And our second floor is the EAC community space. So we've got a gallery show, 2 different shows. In one area, it is a fall show from the Corey Arts Guild. So we have 18 different artists from Corey who are featured there. And then in our other space is a partnership with Glass Growers Gallery, and we have all paintings from the amazing Tom Ferraro. Oh, wow. So we will have that space open on December 12th from 5 to 8, and we'll even have a little holiday themed hot cocoa bar. So that is free and open to everyone, and you can enter at 419 State Street and take the elevator up to C2. It's a little confusing because there's the brig and hazards and a lot going on, but that's good. We've got Flagship City District is alive and well.
What talk about the connections? I don't know if it would be a young person that's creating art in a K-12 setting. Once they graduate, I mean, how do you get involved with an arts guild in Corey or maybe the Poetry Society? Maybe I guess you knock on Mabel Howard's
go to
door.
Cafe 710.
Right,
Yeah, I am so inspired because I've seen so many teenagers especially engaged in different spaces in our arts community. So
is there a directory, or do they come to you? Like how do you know about all this stuff?
So our website does have a lot of resources for the arts community and artists. So you can find a lot of that. We are right now really trying to do some mapping of all of our assets essentially, so we can create some directories, just build out more of what we have to be able to say, hey, here's everywhere you can go take a dance class, here's everywhere where you can go to open mic night for poetry, but poetry especially, like our poetry community is rocking right now. Like it is amazing. And when I went once a month, they do a live poetry reading at CAM, and it's called Poets Know It. And I was so inspired. I was just going to sit and watch. But then 2 high schoolers went up and read poetry. So I dug into my notes app on my phone. I was like, I have some poems I wrote a while ago. I guess I'll read one.
That's fantastic.
So I was so inspired by them. And I think it's really on us adults to, when we hear a young person in our life like share that passion, to really try to connect them with the resources. And like I was at the Girard Art Walk back in June, and there were a couple teens who were selling their paintings, and I was just so happy and proud of them, and thank you to the adults in their life who helped nourish that talent and connect them to the wider community.
I mean, there's so many ways that you are kind of overseeing all of this. I'm thinking about some of the events that we have in Perry Square, whether whether it is a craft show or something like that. Just the accessibility of it all is important. Do you feel that we still have barriers to break when it comes to accessing the arts? I mean, I gotta hand it to like folks like Bobby Pape at the Philharmonic having these free shows all over the place.
Oh, it's come far. It has absolutely come far, and I would say we have even further to go. So we provide a lot of grants for organizations like the Art Museum to do a free music series in the summer, or to ensure that Blues and Jazz Festival is supported. And so I think it really we're at a critical turning point to be able to say, okay, we've made some big strides, right? Art is more accessible. Like we've got these artisan markets and so many different things and gallery spaces. Like I'm so happy to see Katie's Place launch in the old Raskellers.
Is that going to be?
Yeah, it's an art cafe mocktail
I had no
space.
idea. That's wild. Wow.
Yeah. So I think just continue break barriers for, I think of especially like our elderly and disabled populations who might not be able to physically get out somewhere. How can we make sure we can bring the arts to them? And so that's a big part of our arts education as well. I love working with the Barber Center. They've been great partners. We're doing a mural in there with their adult students. So I think just really for us, it's really taking a good hard look and then, supporting the community, the Playhouse doing their arts access programming, the same with the Art Museum. Bobby at the Phil has been a wonderful partner. We are so lucky to have him in Erie. And so I think we just keep pushing for open doors and art for everybody.
Art is expensive as far as, we talked to Mark Tannenbaum about PACA and the kind of investment that needs to happen. We've benefited, even your organization, but you go way back to, some of those philanthropists 100 plus years ago built the foundation for us, bought the Hassam,
Yes.
I mean, there's just a rich history, but keeping it going means the baton needs to be passed. So tell us about how you how do you guys do on Erie Gives, or do you do an annual fund and all that stuff from the peeps?
Yes. I would love to say make art patronage cool again. let's bring that back and let's take that to new heights. Let's get young folks, young professionals to have some stake in this, whether they love theater or they love poetry. Like, become patrons of those organizations, support those artists directly. Come set up an endowment with us so we can give grants out to those artists. We administer several endowments, specifically some for public music performances, for up and coming artists. We run an arts fellowship grant program. So if you want to do that, I would say come talk to us. Erie Gives was big for us. We had a goal of 15,000 and we raised just over 20,000.
Nice.
So shout out to our amazing team for that. We are launching an end of year campaign that'll be coming out at the end of this month. And that really is all around how the arts are here to educate, heal, and unite. And how do we move forward in time where we might be more divided with the arts? And we really want to stand strong, whether there's any changes coming and state funding or other cuts and everything. We're here to say we're not going anywhere, and we're here to really serve the community and ensure that we create futures where arts remain the heartbeat of every community in Northwest Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you don't really care if the guy next to you at the Warner watching the Phil is a D, an R, or an I, right?
I don't care. I don't care. Like, we're all in this together, and the arts make life better. Like, I think of lockdown time during COVID, and what were we doing? I was painting. I was listening to music. I was watching movies. I was watching documentaries. Like, I was live streaming orchestra performances from around the world. It was the arts that got us through in so many ways.
That's true.
And it makes life better, and I want Erie to be known for our incredible arts that we have here, because it's booming.
Talk about your experience as a boomerang. I mean, grew up here, kind of major way, came back, and it seems like, again, I'm on a little bit of a high horse here for a second, but some of our organizations in nonprofits, for-profit organizations, and certainly in government, we need to pass the baton to the next generation. So I think the arts have kind of led the way, I mean, with your position, with Patrick before you, I mean, a young leader that's, you guys are are doing a great job. But I guess, how does that value start getting through the entirety of nonprofit and in the art space? Do you feel like it's starting to come along? I mean, Zach Flock is a younger guy, right?
Yeah, in the arts community.
In the arts community, I think we're making it happen.
We absolutely are. And so I love that you use the passing the baton language, because just 2 weeks ago at KeyCon, one of our staff members, Casey Coratori, led a session called Passing the Baton.
Oh, did you?
And raising up young leaders. And so I think we're missing a lot of mentorship that could be happening with, I'm 36. Like, I'm so grateful to have had mentors across politics, across arts, across nonprofit space. But I see, some folks who are just like holding on because they're like, well, if I'm not in this seat, then things might change, and I want to keep things the way they are. And there's this holding on kind of feeling. And the city and our community is changing no matter what. Like, we have so much talent. I mean, I am surprised that Erie isn't known like as an entertainment capital, like of small cities. Like, there is so much to do. And so I think it's a mindset shift. I think it's a culture shift. And I think it's all of us, young folks, us millennials and whatnot, really just like be relentless, like keep going. Like, even when the door is slammed in your face, as I have personally experienced in this town, like, just don't give up, like keep going. And yes, the arts are leading that way.
Do you think that board members have to kind of start thinking about it? It's like, I've been in this position for 20 years. Aren't you tired? Maybe you could still, if you're financially involved, you could still write the checks.
Yes.
But you don't necessarily have to go to all the meetings.
Yes, and I think
or put your 2 cents
be an
worth
officer
with the ED.
and the board is what runs the nonprofit.
Right.
Like they are the governance of it, and so like my boss is my board, and I'm really glad in our bylaws we have term limits so that we do get new voices in. So. Yeah, term limits matter.
Awesome. So do you miss the politics of it all or no?
Not the day-to-day of it. I miss the policy making.
Right.
I think that part is like that's where my heart will always be. But in this role, I'm able to do advocacy. I'm able to talk about what does a 1%, investment in redevelopment projects for permanent public art look like? Can we get that type of policy passed locally? So can we get, a commitment to arts education and an arts teacher in every single one of our schools? So that's the type of work that I get to do now.
Wow.
So politics I don't miss, but I'm glad to still have a space to be able to do policy making because that's what really matters to me.
Were you I gotta ask you,
of course I know it's coming.
Well I mean, here we have significant change happening at the county and city level. I would imagine you're excited about that change.
I'm refreshed. Looking at the county budget last year, there was 0% that went to art in any way. And this year, Erie Arts and Culture made a request. We'll see, budget negotiations are happening now of just a small investment in arts education for our United Way community schools across the county, not just City of Erie, across the county. So I'm hoping that this starts the conversation and then that really opens some doors to have some larger conversations of what does it look like to invest in the arts here in our city and our county governments.
So do you feel like the city should, I mean, what was it? I think Footlights didn't get funded this year in the summer. That goes back to my era.
I used to teach to them. Yeah, like Footlights is incredible. Over 50 years.
How did we not have money for that?
Yes. I completely agree with you. Like free summer arts programming for our youth is essential.
Like 120 kids.
Yes.
And the teenagers and the young people that ran it.
Yes. That is the kind of advocacy that I foresee myself, my team, my board, and any members of the public come on board. Let's talk about it. Let's get public art as a part of CRIS. Like, let's ensure that these key organizations that are providing such important arts access to our youth, our community, that they stay funded, they stay healthy, and they're sustainable.
Susannah Faulkner, Executive Director at Erie Arts and Culture. You can be reached through the website?
Yeah, absolutely. ErieArtsandCulture.org. And, come visit us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're available in our gallery space 10 to 4. And so, yeah, it's not hard to find us.
I appreciate you taking the time, Susannah.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. It is 8 minutes in front of 5. Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show. I mean, let me just say this: Susannah Faulkner is quite the leader. Again, she has got a ton of energy. Certainly has an opinion about stuff. You may not always agree with her opinion, but I tell you what, she's a strong leader. Holy smokes. And making stuff happen. She mentioned on her way out, and I want to kind of give it a little boost here, about their educational passport program. We didn't get a chance to talk about this, but this is it's a program that brings to the school a dynamic experiential learning program to provide K through 5 students with immersive arts and cultural experiences with 6 key cultural partner institutions. They include Tall Ships, the Experience Children's Museum, the Art Museum, Hagen History Center, Erie Philharmonic, Erie Playhouse. So again, all the heavy hitters, the key assets, right? And it was created in response to the growing need for accessible in-person arts education following years of virtual learning. The program engages students through age-specific experiences reinforced by teaching artist residencies, classroom activities, take-home projects, and family tickets, ensuring meaningful ongoing learning and connection. So again, it sparks student curiosity through creative and enriching field trips and classroom experiences. I tell you what, one of the most memorable parts of my life was learning how to play the violin. So at my little Catholic school in Little Italy, in St. Paul's School, there was a music teacher that came in from the school district, and she gave us violins. And mind you, they were pretty beat, right? These are student violins. Violin and bow, and we learned how to play the violin. I don't know.
That's very cool.
I was like 3rd or 4th grade.
And in a Catholic school.
In a Catholic school, yeah.
We didn't get any of that stuff.
And I, you know,
didn't do that with us.
One of the reasons why it was very memorable is I lost my bow, and I was very concerned about it because, you know, our family didn't have a lot of money, and I knew it would be expensive to replace it, but needed to replace it so I could play. And after hemming and hawing, I, you know, went to the teacher, went to my mom and said, I lost my bow. They got another bow from the music store. They fixed up my case, which is the reason why I lost the bow, because the case was literally falling apart. And I was a pretty terrible violin player. But at least I learned something, right? Pretty remarkable
That's
stuff.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, having the kids, you know, embedded in the arts is just super important, you know. I don't care if your kid's a jock, if your kid, you know, is stuck on their Switch, get them that experience.